Hey, what's up? This is Zach here in San Francisco. Super excited to be speaking with my next guest, Victor, about what is going on in the stablecoin space and what people he's with are building. So just want to kind of kick it off and tell us a little bit about Trace Finance and what you guys are building and why you're here today.
So Trace Finance is an accounting, treasury management, and portfolio management system. And the reason why we're building it is because of how complex the blockchain is in terms of all of the digital assets. Even when you get the stables, it can be one for one, but it's still, USDC is on 19 different blockchains. USDT is on 16 or 17, right? So trying to track all the bridging, the on-off ramps, the inflows from fiat, getting the full life cycle of the dollar is really complex. And we abstract all of that away and make it really simple. So your P&L.
And why did you guys decide to come to this event today?
Because it's a fantastic event hosted by fantastic people.
Let's go.
But really, I think that there's a lot of, problems people are having interacting with stables and just being able to know their balances, be able to make sure they're reconciled, having automated workflows around their finances. And, I see it on a day-to-day basis with some of the largest, companies on the planet. And we're, again, helping solve all of those. And so that's why I wanted to come here, right? Because it's kind of airing out, from working with all of the different custody providers who are here, MPC wallet infrastructure, all the KYC and AML people who are talking to your, stablecoin issuers and providers, and just, having that, a very solution-oriented, half-day conference of just like, how do we abstract all these problems away and make it super simple, right? So that's what I found really interesting about, all the speakers and everybody I've talked to, and, the entire event has just been so, what's messed up and how do we solve it?
No, I appreciate that. And I think it has been a fantastic event. And so, yeah, shout out to the organizers. You guys are killing it.
Thank you.
What would you say is the biggest misconception around stablecoins today?
That it's unsafe, right, to use, or that it's really complex to use, or that, I think people hear crypto and they think, scam, and now I have to get all of this technology to even make it work. And really what it enables is a permissionless system, which means that you can, as long as you're acting within regulation and guidelines, you can send money instantly, incredibly, cheaply too, right? And it's doing what we do, but in a much easier and faster way. And if you think about it, like trying to interact with the banking system and downloading, NetSuite and Oracle and having all of these, it's very complex there, and even more so, right? And they've had 100 years to solve it. I don't know, maybe SaaS, the internet SaaS, 25, right? And, we're still not seeing all of it solved, and it's incredibly difficult and complex. And now you have an open ledger system, so all of the data is there, and you can move money instantaneously and for far cheaper than you could before, right? So just starting from there, it's incredibly better and easier to use. And then, as the industry kind of evolves, everything's going to be abstracted away, and it's going to be so much simpler. And we're seeing that today.
What do you think is something that makes you guys stand out maybe versus your competitors? Because I know it is a very kind of competitive space right now.
There's a few different things. Number one is how many blockchains we cover, right? I mentioned USDC can be, on 19 different blockchains, USDT 17. We cover 200, right? Wow. And then we also cover 40 plus exchanges and on-off ramps. So it doesn't matter where your funds are, we'll be able to track them. So you can get all your balance. It's the simplest thing, right? We have the connectivity to be able to pull your data no matter where it is. What I've also seen too is with changing guidances and differing guidances from company to company, even within the US, right? Not even talking globally, you want to get from point A to point B. And if somebody's just giving you a solution for point A, they're missing really completing and automating all of your workflows. And I think that's what really makes us different and why we have such coverage, right? We support the biggest exchanges in the world who need to pull data on 200 different blockchains. We support, the biggest venture funds on the planet, right? Get all this data. And then from there, we also, operationally work with a lot of companies who are, bridging assets or doing this or doing that. And they're just like, look, I just want to give you an API key into our custodian and some of our exchanges and just have it work. And that's what we do, right? So we abstract away a very complex problem and make it really simple. And I think that a lot of vendors forget we're vendors, right? Everybody's kind of a vendor to somebody, but we're all vendors. And that's the whole point, is to make it easy for, to be able to interact with this new financial system.
No, I mean, I think that's a really good take. And I mean, it is super important. And it's great to hear kind of the coverage. I think a lot of our viewers are always kind of interested in seeing what the best options are.
And then it's you want native connectivity into, if you're using NetSuite or QuickBooks or Xero or whatever it is, we're an API first built platform. So you can pull any of some people just use us to just have connectivity into 200 blockchains to pull data, right? That alone, it's single API to be able to interact with 200 blockchains, it's mind-blowing. And also we get really complex data points accrued or generated staking rewards. So that it's from the simplest to the most complex, really at the core of it, we're a data company, right? Abstract data away and make it really easy for the end user just to be able to interact with their finances. We're an end-to-end, operating solution for the new age CFO, right? They want one place to go in and look at both their, not just crypto, but also fiat. We pull that in as well. We pull in 12,000 different banks. So it doesn't matter what your workflows are. They want a solution that's going to be able to solve it. And that's what makes us really different. It's not just here's software, good luck, right? We're what's your end goal? Let's get there together.
When you kind of look at the overall picture of stablecoins, obviously there's been a huge increase and a surge in adoption in the last couple of years. Yep. Why do you think it is now that stablecoins are going, quote unquote, mainstream?
Again, this is something I kind of mentioned before is, one of my good friends walks around in importer-exporter conference with just a sheet of the rates. And then that alone, people are like, I want to talk, right? And it's, think about your Uber, how much money they're saving on cross-border payments. Think about any sort of, global company trying to move money quickly and cheaply. It's going to save them an infinite amount of money. And I think that we've seen the ebbs and flows, right? Of, hacks happen and you kind of have all of this, I won't call it FUD because it does happen to exchanges, right? That we've seen. And we've seen FTX collapse, right?
We saw Terra.
Yeah, we saw Terra Luna collapse. So I think that there's a wariness and a well-founded wariness. But if you want to compete in this world and you want to pay 2x what your competitors are paying to move money, you're going to die, right? And I think that
there's a waste.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think that there's we live in a capitalist society. You have to be the best and the most efficient. And if you're not interacting with the most efficient system, you're going to go the way of the dinosaur. And then, not, again, on the flip side, right, not doing enough due diligence, like Terra Luna, right, or having all of your funds in FTX or not having the proper controls in place is, it's going to put you at risk. So I think that we're finally starting to see, okay, here's how you operate with this, new financial system in a regulated and safe way. And okay, we can undercut our competitors, right? Because we're saving so much money, or we can offer yield, right? We can actually offer money back, or earn it ourselves. And so that's why I think it's really starting to take off, is because you have to be efficient in your operations, or you're going to lose. You're going to lose the game.
Couldn't agree more. Mm-hmm. Well, I just want to say thank you so much, Victor, for the great interview. I think it's been super insightful. It's great to learn about what different builders are doing, and it sounds like you guys are killing it. So I encourage all of our users to check out their platform yourselves and follow them on X.
Please do. Check out Trace Finance. That's all you have to type into Google to get to us.
Easy.
Trace.finance, and you're good to go.